Welcome back to another episode of Free the Plant, Free the People, hosted by BluRok Farms. I'm your host, LeVar Eady, and we have another great episode today. So today's episode is called Cannabis and Breaking Glass Ceilings. And we have a special guest today, and his name is Lano. Lano, excuse me. I did it again, and I said it before we started. Hey, this is what happens.
I'm Lano, whatever you want to call me. I'm Black Man Glass. I started glass blowing recently. I'm enjoying it a lot. One of the only black glass blowers in town, so I got to represent.
So that we definitely want to introduce him. And so today's episode is about cannabis and glass blowing, that relationship that they have together, and have a long history of it together. But we're going to get specifically into Lano's introduction to glass blowing, and we're going to also talk about why I think it's important and why he thinks it's important as well to have diversity in spaces like this so that we can get more black glass blowers. But first, let's start with let's get into how did you get started into glass blowing?
So the way I got started into glass blowing was collecting. I was starting out as a collector. I've always collected glass since I was really young, and in elementary school collecting those little marbles with the flowery kind of twist in them. Mm-hmm. So I did that, and then one day I found this little pendant. I was gonna bring it, but I forgot it. It's this little monkey pendant. And I was like, man, this is the coolest thing ever. I didn't have a lot of money growing up, so a lot of the stuff I would make my toys is just stuff I would either find or build. Yeah. So once I would find marbles, I was hooked. I was like, whoa, you can do this crazy stuff with glass. And speeding up longer into it, I started out collecting glass around early high school. I was collecting pipes I started out with, and then pendants, and then working up to headier glass.
Gotcha.
And collecting stuff like rigs. And I started collecting. I had about a $5,000 collection.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then I ran into one of my homies, my friend Kenzo. Mm-hmm. He had a house, and our homie was staying there. Yeah. And he was just blowing glass. He just wanted a place to blow glass, and he had this kind of moving in between period. So you just set up there, and came by there to trip. I ended up tripping over there. He's like, yo, blowing glass. My homie Julian's blowing glass. So I was like, oh shit, blowing glass. I collect glass. Might as well see what's going on. Yeah. And so I checked it out, and he's like, you know what? You just want to try jumping on the torch? And I said, fuck it, why not? And I got into it, and I made a marble first day. Wasn't nice at all. Wasn't very bumpy, but I really enjoyed it. And he was like, yo, if you ever want to, come take lessons from me. And after that, I started taking lessons.
Awesome. Did you always have that, gung-ho kind of attitude of hey, let's give it a shot, kind of?
Yeah, I've always wanted to do something creative. Mm-hmm. It's just finding that outlet of what really scratches that itch. Because before this, I wanted to do a clothing line. Mm-hmm. And it was I would have so much ideas about crazy, cool ideas of clothing I would want to do. And it would be good for especially for the black community, very crazy, artistical, psychedelic street art kind of wear. But it just, when you get to the nitty gritty of getting clothes and getting screen printers and all that stuff, it was kind of making me lose the passion.
Gotcha, yeah. Yeah, because it's more detached from the art than other forms of art like glass. You're intimate with the art versus you can be with clothing, but again it's a different type of intimacy that you can have with glass because you're physically in there molding the glass to the form and shape that you want. With clothing, for the initial design, but after that it's just mass produced. Mm-hmm. So I definitely understand that, but what did you find it, or did you notice when you first started getting into glass blowing that you were a kind of rarity, like a unicorn in a sense of being very limited in being a glass blower?
Yeah, I definitely saw that and felt that, especially if you look at just keeping it to New Mexico. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of glass blowers in New Mexico, but there's only one other black glass blower in here besides me, so it's when you're looking around and being all right, kind of connecting the dots. Oh, who looks like me? Who you think I can relate to? You're kind of telling yourself. Yeah. It's kind of hard, kind of coming up, but there's a few glass blowers. There's only one Jones here in town. There's one called Avery York.
Okay.
And it's hard, kind of finding your way, but it's possible.
Gotcha. So that's when you were telling me about your journey of getting into glass blowing and you finding like pieces and everything like that. You were talking about pipes and things like that. What was your? Let's get in a little bit into the cannabis side as well. As what was your introduction to cannabis and like what was your initial experience with it?
I've been smoking cannabis since I was 12. So first time I ever smoked weed was in middle school. Right after school, I went to my homegirl's house, and we smoked out of this silver fume pipe. That's when I first time I saw ever seen like something like that, where it was like old school silver fuming, so it was like no blues or any crazy colors, just straight white,
Oh, wow.
some dot work on it, like spiraled up.
Okay.
And I remember buying weed that day, putting it in the pipe, and hitting it, and feeling like I just opened up like Pandora's box. Like, you ever seen the pictures of Jesus,
Yeah.
and he has that ring around his head?
aura,
that's
yeah.
That's what I
Gotcha.
felt. I felt like I unlocked the aura.
Gotcha. Okay. Awesome. When you started blowing glass, did you ever start infusing cannabis and like not necessarily, well, might, but like in your designs and how that influenced your creative process of creating pieces?
Yes, I have. In like, let me say how I'm gonna go about this. Yes, I have, because I've like shaped like different things towards like weed. Like I'll do weed branded stuff. Like I'll have like little weed characters or whatnot. I don't know.
But does it like ever inspire you something that's more abstract and like not necessarily in the design, like looking as if it was weed or cannabis inspired, but you know that the design for you was inspired by an experience you had with cannabis? Or
Yes,
kinda like that?
100%. Yeah, I've definitely liked to base my pieces off of like experiences I have, or
Okay.
like psychedelic trips I had, whether it be with weed or LSD or stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So like, I try to have my pieces be very like kind of looking textured without like having the texture. So I like kind of like a real naturey vibe with my glass. Kind of like I wanted it to be tapped in with the earth.
Okay.
And when I'm not going for like a naturey vibe, I go for like a kind of like the vibes you get from weed, like that feeling where it's like a lightless alien kind of wispy face, like space feeling.
Okay. Definitely. Do you have a favorite piece? I know it's hard to say that because each one is like a baby. It's like, but do you have a particular piece that is your favorite? And then do you have a piece that was almost at the point where it's your favorite, but you just couldn't get it, something there for it? You know, like it was just missing one piece in it or one part that you just couldn't figure out how to end it, like kind of art
like that
block.
question, yeah. So my favorite piece I made to date is this green and purple hammer pipe I made. It was MF Doom hammer pipe. So
okay.
it was so sick. It was like a transparent green or a transparent purple with a sparkly green, like transitioning out through the piece with a gray MF Doom mask on it.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. I mean, those are his colors. So yeah.
Yeah, literally.
No, that's dope. Okay. Ah, wow. Was that for a client or was that just for something you?
That was for me, but it was for people to buy. Like,
Gotcha, yeah.
I wanted to make something that kind of like, I wanted to do my own version of what I felt like MF Doom was, meaning like just a guy that, you know, comes from the hood, just trying to make it, but doing his own thing with his own little flair. Like, I love his comic book style.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing. I was listening to a bunch of MF Doom at the time, and
Okay.
I was just going through the whole album, making this piece, and I really wanted to make this mask. And so it was another thing. I really want to be in the sculptural arts of glass. Lucio Babacco is an Italian sculptor that's very inspirational to me.
Awesome. Okay.
And so I wanted to try to use his techniques and see if I can translate it to more of an urban environment.
Gotcha. Okay. And so let's talk a little bit from the kind of your evolution in glass blowing. In the beginning, you talked about your first piece was the marble. That wasn't, of course, the best. Of course, it was your first piece. But I assume that's kind of the go-to for beginners. what was the first piece that you finished in that beginning stage that you were like, I'm proud of this piece of like, of the quality of it?
Okay. My first piece that I was really impressed about the quality of it was, let's say, had to be one of my early first pipes.
Okay.
Because it was like, not only was this pipe not like, it's cool to make your first pipe because it's like, well, something you can bake that you can smoke out of.
Yeah,
It's not like rolling
usable.
a joint.
Yeah, it's usable.
But once I got it down to where it wasn't just I made my first pipe, a first usable pipe that I could show people and be like, oh, wow, you made that? So that definitely was like a game changer. And then the one after that was my first rig I made.
Okay.
And that was like a very big thing because it's like you have to make the down stem, you got to make the joint, you got to make the whole entire piece, you know? So it's like a whole kind of like graduation ceremony in a sense where you're like, I got myself up to the skills and now I'm able to celebrate by, taking a dab out of this piece or using it as a bong,
Gotcha. No, that's awesome. So from that point, the next like tier that you were trying to get to, is it the tier that you're talking about now of the sculpture space?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the first stage I was in before was understanding the glass and like kind of like picking up the fundamentals. Yeah. Now it's like using the fundamentals I picked up and transitioning it into pieces I would like to make.
Understandable. Yeah. Okay. That's dope. That's dope. As we met a couple of times. I think the first time we met was at like a Friday tree sesh. I'm not sure, but I think so. Yeah. Which is an event that me and another person from Albuquerque specifically started, and I stepped out of that. But then I met you again at another function, Black Owned Buds, which is another organization that I helped co-found, me, Babsy, and Frank. So I was like, it's crazy that like all these functions.
Bro, literally.
And so I approached him then, and so like before we did this podcast, and I've talked to him before, we've been working on a piece for my little brother. So he's not gonna see this, so he won't know that he's gonna get surprised. He doesn't live out here, so yeah. But with that being said, is like, so that's why I find it just interesting is that like, because the piece that I'm asking him to make, I'm not gonna get into details because I don't want anybody to bite my idea. But it dives into that elevation, or not elevation, but elevation and evolution of your glass blowing techniques and everything like that.
No,
so I think it's like interesting.
100%. Like, especially that piece I'm gonna be making you is like totally stepping out of my comfort zone and using all the little freaking Mr. Miyagi texts I've learned and putting them all into one piece. And for sure, that piece has been kicking my ass, but it's like, there's no other medium that's as unforgivable as glass. Like, people might think, like a lot of people think I just get like a mold and I put everything in a mold.
Like you could do with plastic, or like certain cakes, or like all these other designs. Yeah,
or I'm dyeing shit on there. No, it's all trial and error. You're literally like, remember as a kid where you do that thing where you rub your stomach and pat your head? That's literally glass blowing. You'd have to spin consistently, make sure everything is perfect, and that's just to make sure it's gonna work. You don't even know if it's gonna even survive the kiln cycle.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So it's a lot of just honest blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, trial and error, and fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but it shows you the dedication that you have, that you're sticking with this craft and sticking with this this passion to do this art that is, and that's what makes, I think, glassblowing so unique and so special, is the beauty that's within it, but the fragility that it has.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that you do have to treat that art with care, because it can be easily broken, and you can't get it back, even if you try to get a similar design. If it's like a artisan or a specifically handcrafted piece like you make, you can try to make the same one again. It's not going to be exact.
Yeah.
It'll be close. It could look alike, but you know what I'm saying? It's not going to be exact because there's no way. Yeah,
no, 100%. Like something to like chime in on that. The person that taught me how to blow glass, he said that like, in the same sense, like if you want to create a piece, it won't be the same. But even when you're making the piece, like even if you get it from the same tube of glass, it's gonna act differently.
Exactly. Yeah.
So even if I'm making 25 pipes, all those 25 pipes are gonna have to do something different for each one of those.
And that's the beauty of it, though. It's like they're all one of a kind pieces.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. So that's awesome, and I'm excited to see like the continued growth that you're gonna have, and because I've seen a lot of his work and it looks great to me. But I'm not an expert. It looks good to me, so that's why when I asked you to make that piece, I was like, yeah, I think you can do it. I was like, yeah, you can do it. I seen that. I was like, it looks good. So, but I think that's really dope. And is there anything particular outside of that you're currently working on that you're really excited about? Like any current pieces? We know about the kind of technique that you're working to improve on, but any like that you can talk about?
Yeah. So the thing I am very like excited to start is making bigger pieces. Like I just took a class recently from my homie KSR Glass. Awesome. He's a homie in California that does like $1,000 pieces like bongs and stuff. Wow. So definitely trying to work my way up to there. But he definitely helped me like hone in my skills and make it so I can make bigger pieces. Gotcha. My goal is to make a bigger piece so I can make just like a straight up bong or a giant rig.
Gotcha.
I would love to I have a lot of very vivid dreams, and I dream of all like a piece, like in my dreams, I'll be dabbing in my dreams and I'll look at this piece and it'll be this crazy intricate piece. And so what I'm wanting to do is, now that I have the skills to be able to understand how to work the glass, I want to take the images I see in my brain from my dreams and translate them into the pieces. Gotcha. So my dream pieces literally transform them into my actual dream pieces in reality.
Oh no, that's making dreams reality for reals. When you get to that, or when you're making, or when you're thinking of making a piece, this is just me. I love talking to creatives and their creative process and how they go about making these wonderful pieces in any art form. I just like art, period. And so when you're thinking about making these pieces, and like that, the ones you're talking about in your dreams, do you ever draw them out, or do you just go from like kind of memory, like just what it looks like in your head, and when you're making the pieces, you're doing it, or how is that process go for you?
So when I do that, I get myself in, like I'll try to bring myself back. Like if you're forgetting where your keys are, like I'll bring myself back to that spot, what I'm doing in that dream, how I feel in that dream, what I was doing, what I was saying, and try to like kind of recreate it in my brain, the vibes, everything, and then I'll draw it out. Okay. And then after that, I'll draw it out, look at my drawing, then kind of, tweaks here and there. Oh, this would be better here, this could be better there. And then after that, I'll go into fully building my piece. Gotcha. And then throughout my piece, I might switch stuff up anyway. That's how the way glass goes, because it's like, sometimes you'll set up for something and then another like thing will come up and you'll be like, oh, actually, this is way better. Yeah,
this works. So if it is, so I'm gonna go with it.
Happy accidents, like Bob Ross says.
Yeah. Happy accidents. That's dope. So is there any other art forms that you do? Like, do you draw, paint, something like as well, or is that glass blowing is the main like avenue that you get your creative energy out?
So I like painting and drawing. I'm not good at it. But I used to like doing it a lot. Mm-hmm. Then I found clay. I found ceramics first. Okay. And so I was getting hard into ceramics. I was like, wow, I can make my own sculptures. I can make my own pipes. Like, this is sick. Art teacher in high school would get always mad at me because I would fucking make pipes in class. You can't make that, bro. And make me smash it in class. And so, like, glass was the only real one where I felt like, man, I can, like, fully let my wings span out and fly. Can make pipes, can draw on glass, it can do whatever.
Yeah, that's dope. Okay, that's pretty cool, man. Because a lot of people don't have the luxury of finding, their passion and then being able to like explore it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a wonderful thing, especially seeing people that express themselves in that manner. So, congratulations to you on finding that and really being able. And it also speaks to the support system that you have of like your friend being able to guide you. And then having a friend in California to guide you and propel you even further, like having those connections. But it also shows the importance of developing and having networks to build on your artistic abilities. and tap into your groups, your people, as we all say, free the plant, free the people.
In this industry, like-minded people are like a godsend. Like, there's nothing better than to have someone that has the same kind of goal or aspirations as you and wants to see you exceed as much as they want to see themselves exceed.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's dope. That's dope. And I say specifically for like the black culture and the black community, because I've said it on this podcast before and I've said it to people before I would have been in cultivating cannabis a lot longer, or even thought about being a farmer a lot earlier if I ever saw a black farmer as a kid. I never saw one. To me, it never even crossed my mind as a legitimate profession.
yeah, literally.
And I was like, and they were like, well, I was like, I know black history. I knew about George Washington Carver, but the way that he's presented as not a farmer, is as a scientist. And that's what I went to college to be, a scientist, biology major, like that, because I saw something that was interesting to me, tied to a field that I didn't even realize I was interested in. And boom, here we are. I would have gotten into farming a lot earlier. Who knows what could have happened in my career. And so that's why I think it's important for kids that look like us to be able to say, oh shit, yo, he's a glass blower. That's shit. I can do that.
Yeah, that's something I'm interested in.
Yeah, I can do that. And even if they don't want to do it as a career, I can do that. I can at least explore it. And it might not be for you.
Yeah. But it might open up something else for you too.
Exactly.
You know?
Open up your creative energy. Like, I didn't like glass blowing, but I might like ceramics.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't like glass blowing, but I like the drawing part of it. So let me get into art. Like physical drawing or painting is something like it can open up those avenues, but we just have to be able to see ourselves in those spaces.
Yeah, that's one of the big things that like really wanted me to like kind of put my foot in the ground and be like, all right, I'm setting my roots in. I want to make this shit happen, because like literally like probably only like 100,000 black glass blowers in America, if that.
Wow.
But yeah, I only known of one in town that for the longest time he's like an OG here.
Oh wow.
And so me and him, like every time we're at an event, it's black glass blower. The brothers are in town, ready to make some shit happen.
No, that's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. That it's embracing community, at least for your experience, and we hope that it's the same for those out there that are listening and watching this podcast that might be interested in blowing glass and creating these wonderful but yet fragile pieces. So, is there anything that you want to let the people know before we start wrapping it up about you and about anything that you want, lead them to you so that they can purchase your glasswork?
Yes. The first thing I'm going to say before I like shout myself out and promo myself is, please, if you have a hobby or something that you're interested in, even if it's you like can only do it for a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes out of your day, literally do it, because it's going to change your life. I was a sorry sack of shit before I started blowing glass. I used to hate life. I used to be the big old bummer that, why is it not good for me, this and that? And then I started kind of dedicating myself to something I actually liked, getting my actual views and what I really want to do with my life out there. And it wasn't what I could do at first for the longest time, but it opens all that like cloudiness, the dark cloud you have over your head of, oh, it's not going to get better. That helps, because it's like, well, I want to make this shirt, Oh, I have this shirt design. Throughout your day, you can just like daydream, work out throughout your plans and your dreams. Yeah. Helps you better yourself as a person for your future as well. Yeah. But I just what I really want people is to do what makes you happy, no matter if it's just a short amount of time of your day until you can grow it. But my Instagram is blackmanglass, as it is spelled, all original, no spaces or anything. Hit me up if you ever want any dread beads, or if you want any pipes, rigs, pendants, ornaments. I do ornaments too for the Christmas time, whatever.
Yeah, those were dope, yeah. No, so thank you for coming on the show. Definitely check out Black Man Glass on Instagram, as well on Facebook too?
No, just on
Instagram. Instagram, so that's where to go. That's the place to be. Definitely check his glass out. Definitely buy it. the support.
Yeah.
Support is important. As we say here, spend your dollars in the communities that look like you and that can help and thrive with you, so we can all do this together. So we always end the show with 2 final questions before we get out of here. The first question is, if you were a cultivar or a strain, what would you be and what effect would you have? And if you want to think about it, I can go first.
I'll let you go
Okay.
first.
For this week, I am, or for this episode, I should say, I'm going to go with apple fritter.
Ooh, apple fritter. Okay.
I'm going to go with apple fritter because it has, because as of late, I've given up sugar for the last, about a month. I'm trying to give it up for the rest of the year, but, well, in moderate amounts, but natural anyways. And so when I smoke that, it does have a little sweetness to it, in at least the strains and cultivars that I've had. And that nice sweetness to it that kind of reminds me of like cookies. That was my downfall. So it kind of relieves that sweet tooth a little bit. And I like that it has a nice mellow high for me. Even kill. I've been really, really busy lately. And that nice even kill makes me relax and compartmentalize things that are going on so that I can move forward and strategize what's the next move. But I get all of these things have been positive, but it's just been busy. But it's a good busy. I'm not complaining. But that's what I would pick, and that's the effect that I get, and that's the reason why I pick it right now. What about you?
I have a few in my head that I was like,
you don't have to just pick one. You can rattle a few off.
My first one is honey bananas. It seems
Okay.
like the strain of the year. Everybody's been loving honey bananas, but one of my favorites, I always smell it. It's like that nice fruity smell, but it's like that fruity funk smell. It always brings a big old smile on my face where you can't even control, and gets me that high where it's like, where it's nice. I like a lot of indica chill highs. I like to feel chill and nice low down like I'm James Brown. You know, I like chilling with the funk.
Gotcha, yeah.
And then Tropicana Cookies is another one.
That is a good one.
Another one has a little punch with it.
Yeah, it does.
But it's nice little sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
I like the strains. They're like kind of trashy smelling. They're like trashy, foody. I feel like they're more like kind of what you would bring to the cookout, you know?
Yeah. I call those the earthy and earthy skunky side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know exactly. I would say I'm not as a big fan of that. I've been gaining more appreciation for it with this cultivar that I'm working with now in my grow. So I am gaining more appreciation for it. I didn't dislike it, but it's not, my go-tos are the sativas.
Mm-hmm.
That's my wheelhouse is the sativas. I like the creative, energetic side of it because people say I'm pretty low vibe already, so indicas.
Ain't trying to make yourself Eeyore.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but no, I feel that Tropicana Cookies. I haven't had that in a while though, but yeah. I do remember that vividly, and of course, yeah, the honey banana. But
one of the OGs from like that I haven't seen in a while, but I would love to have if I can get it again is cherry pie. The OG cherry pie, the purple. It smells straight up like it. Ooh.
I had
That's the best.
In 2017, right before, because I moved out here in 2018. Right before I moved out here, was it 2018? No, it's 2019 I moved out. Yeah, 2019 I moved out here. In 2018, a friend of mine's back in the Bay Area, shout out Bay Area, you know how we do, but he had cherry pie, a real cut of cherry pie, because a lot of cookie strains are based off of cherry pie. That's the the origin for Girl Scout cookies is cherry pie.
Okay.
So a lot of things that people like nowadays, like you couldn't get Tropicana cookies without cherry pie, because the cookie side of Tropicana cookies comes from Girl Scout cookies, which comes from cherry pie. Like, so it's just crazy how that, which makes sense why you
Yeah.
like, you know, like, but how crazy how that thing works. But he had a cut of cherry pie. He gave me that cut of cherry pie. I grew that cherry pie. Oh, I loved it so much. I did too. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it so much. I took a cutting with me when I moved out here, and I drove in a U-Haul all the way out here and made it here. I made it. It was alive. Kept it alive the whole drive. Got to my grandma's house, and she said, I can't keep it in the house. And it was summertime.
No.
It made it 2 days. And then I was like, I couldn't stay home all day to just monitor it. I had to leave. I left for 2 hours, came back, stat. So we lost that lineage. But hey, you live.
Yep, you live and you learn.
You still love grandma. You still do. But I wish I had that cherry pie.
I know, right?
But
It's like watching a cart hit your car. You're like, no, no,
yeah,
no.
it's like,
Nothing you can do but say, oh no.
yeah. But sorry, small tangent. But last question is that we ask all of our guests before they leave is, what does free the plant, free the people mean to you?
Free the plant, free the people. To me means, what does it mean? It means, you know what? Because I'm tired of all this bullshit of like, you know, like how alcohol is so widely free and yeah, drink alcohol, man. Aren't you drinking today? Yo, let's go drink. It's like crazy how much it fucks up people's lives.
Yep.
But with weed, it's very helpful, very nurturing. Everyone's all voodoo bad man. It's crazy because it's like the only reason why we don't have weed like we do fucking alcohol is because it only takes one person to grow a plant, you know? So they can't get their hands in it and money.
Yep.
And I feel like this whole thing about like arrest for a weed is pretty bullshit.
No.
Definitely just a new form of modern slavery, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
No one wants to change their laws. No one wants to make it so people don't get caught with weed. Why would they want to? That's a free source of money for them, which is sad, and I wish it would change.
Yeah. No, definitely. I'll say, yeah, for me, for this episode, I'll say free the plant, free the people is freeing the plant. And that can mean, I want to expand it to more than just cannabis. It's like really getting back in touch with just the planet and earth, all plants. Like there's so much that we're missing in just the plant life that can have life-saving effects for us as humans. And I think we need to get back in touch with that. I think a lot of our illnesses that we're having can be gut related, and a lot of that's by what are we eating and how it's grown and things of that nature. So I think really freeing the plant is getting back to its natural aspect, and it gives us what we need, and us taking that and giving back to it, which is going to free us and allow us to live longer, healthier, happier lives as wholes. So that's what it means to me for this episode. So I want to say, bro, thank you. It was really good talking to you. Definitely go to his Instagram, Black Man Glass, and get that glass, y'all, for real.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I would love to come on again. This was fun, you know. Had a great time.
I have a perfect idea for to have you on another episode is because I want to do another episode, which will, before we wrap up, I'll just put this out there to you to see if you might be interested. I want to do an episode. I did one on cannabis and psychedelics, but I want to do more like of a panel, like me for the cannabis side, other people for the different psychedelics, so we can have like a more robust kind of conversation about it with no aspersions, no negative feelings about it. Like even if you don't, it doesn't matter. We're talking about it as a whole. Like just and I want it to be from a positive perspective of just let's share our experiences and share how these things can work together, have worked together, what we know about it. and just I think that would be a really cool episode.
Yeah, I would totally down for that. That sounds right up my alley. That's definitely some stuff I would love to just talk about.
Okay, cool. No, so yeah, definitely we'll have to get you back on. But I want to say again, thank you for watching, and thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for watching another episode of Free the
Thank you,
Plant, Free the
guys.
People. We can't do it without you. Definitely like, subscribe, tell us different products we should review, different dispensaries we should go to, different topics we should talk about. And let us know what you thought about this episode and your experience with glass blowing and the diversity or the lack of diversity that you might have experienced or seen in it. And so, again, thank you for watching another episode of Free the Plant, Free the People. I'm your host, LeVar Eady, and we're presented by BluRok Farms. So live, love, and we out.